FirstBank Fintech podcast. This is the show for intelligent discussions with brilliant minds and pioneers of financial technology and banking in Nigeria. I'm your host, Fisayo Fosudo, and I'm here with the...
And I was waiting. I thought you were ready.
Let's just go with phenomenal. Today is phenomenal. Let's just
No,
go
we're not going with phenomenal. No, I don't want phenomenal.
Co-host,
You've given me that before. I don't want. Find another one. If not, I'm not going to speak on the show today.
I said stupendous earlier. But you said it sounded like
it's not. I know it's a great word, but it just sounds so stupid. So I don't want. Give me another one. You think I'm joking? Okay.
I don't know what to say.
You don't know what to say. You're not smiling.
I've exhausted my list of words.
Okay, I'll manage phenomenal. And the ones you've given me previously, list them. Amazing, incredible, extraordinary, extravagant. Just me. That's why my... But that one sound like insults more. Like you today overdue. But welcome and thank you very much, Fisayo. It's been an incredible season, Yeah. I've had fun with you.
Same.
And I cannot wait to be done with
I've learned so much. I've learned so much in this season. Actually, it's very interesting.
Yes.
The people we've spoken with,
and the people we're about to speak with right now. Yes. And speaking of the people we're about to speak with on the show, today we have Ope Adeoye, Chief Executive Officer, Chief Plumber, and founder One Pipe. And we also have Steve Asemota, Chief Data Officer, FirstBank. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much for having us here.
You're welcome.
Very much so, yeah.
You can see we're very playful individuals, but we want to learn, we want to speak tech. Although we want to speak it in a way that people would understand, whichever generation is watching or listening would be able to relate. So welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
So we start with you. Your favorite food is pounded yam. You told me off camera, and and we have pounded yam waiting for you when we're done. Sure? That's if you break it down for us and if you tell us everything you're doing. No, what's poundo?
Thank you.
I said in your
Now we're talking.
So let's talk about One Pipe. What is going down at One Pipe? What is One Pipe all about?
Okay, so at One Pipe, one of the things we firmly believe in is that banking and financial services in general should be something that everyone can contribute to and distribute. So off the back of that principle, what One Pipe is doing is creating a framework that makes it possible for non-financial institutions to offer banking and financial services in general. So we partner with banks, lenders, savings companies, asset management companies on one side. Then on the other side, we partner with distributors, manufacturers, churches, etc. to make it possible for them to offer something like church bank in a sense, but it is powered by a real commercial bank. That's our idea in general.
Okay, so what about you? Your role as is it Chief Data?
No.
Chief Data Plumber.
Chief Plumber.
Chief Data Officer of FirstBank. Yes.
I didn't get that, sorry.
Chief Data Officer.
What?
Officer.
You are stressing our guests.
Okay, your role as Chief Data Officer, what does day-to-day entail for you? And how would you describe the problem you're trying to solve, on a day-to-day basis?
Well, firstly, ours is the FirstBank here looks at data as a critical asset.
I'm sorry.
FirstBank looks at data as a very critical asset.
Okay.
So my job is to come up with a strategy and implementation plan to ensure we can extract value out of our data assets. Obviously, to the benefit of our customers as well, right?
Sure.
Primarily, anyways. Okay. So that's really what the high-level objective is. Okay. So on a day-to-day basis, what my team does is to understand data problems within the organization, craft out solutions, and implement on a day-to-day basis.
Interesting.
So that the signals that our customers are sending to us through our channels can be interpreted by the bank, which helps us improve the kind of services and products we deliver to the customers. Again, as well. So.
Cool. And I think that's even one of the concepts one of the benefits of open banking, which we're going to get on to later. You wanted to ask?
Yeah, I was going to ask him what the day-to-day life was.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So my day-to-day life, typically I wake up late. Maybe like 7:30. Thank you.
Oh, but my late is like 2 p.m. My late is like 2 p.m. 7:30 is early.
Oh, wow. So I think I wake up late. I get my 3-4 cups of coffee before I get started. But then most of the time, I spend the day looking at dashboards. How is our data doing? How many transactions have we done today so far or yesterday? As with every entrepreneur, your day is not defined. So I envy those that work in a structured environment like a bank. But for those of us that are on the outside, it's a bit more. Your day is just not organized. Whatever happens, take it as you see it.
Well, I would say that it's not necessarily defined. But if you give an average of what it will look like, you have to paint a structured picture. But I mean, we have different problems that we're trying to deal with. We have different objectives that the bank has. We're quite aggressive in implementing our plan, right? So it depends on the day, but on the high level, these are the kind of things that we do operationally.
So how would you describe the problem you're trying to solve, though, as well?
Okay, so once again, I'll take you a step higher into, I don't want to call it philosophical. If you look at it on a grand scale, imagine that Nigeria has roughly, no matter, depending on who you choose to believe, let's say Nigeria has 100 million adults that are economically active, but mostly poor. We all agree, right? Now, banking as we know it today, the right type of banking is probably reaching less than 10 million of those people, meaning banking beyond cash in, cash out. Pick up the phone, cost money and say, I need a credit line to grow my shop from shop 1 to shop 2. That's real banking. Or I need an investment plan that makes it possible to do X, Y, Z. That's real banking. You want to sit across the table and discuss that with a banker, right, to sort you out. The kind of people that get that kind of banking are less than 10 million, and that's the God honest truth. Now, our belief is that the balance of about 90 million people are having this type of interactions day to day with someone that is not a bank. They're having it with their community guy, with their union guy, with their cooperative guy, with their church, their pastor. They're having these conversations, right? But those guys don't have the liquidity or the asset base to offer what they are really asking for. So the problem we think we're solving is to buy, in quotes, buy banking wholesale from real financial institutions and let that cooperative distribute it on behalf of the bank. So that conversation that the plumber or the vulcanizer could not have with a real banker, go ahead, have it with your union chairman. The union chairman will offer you a product that is from FirstBank, for example, and then you are happy. And you never had to talk to FirstBank. So that's our idea. It helps FirstBank because now they can reach this 90 million. It helps the vulcanizer because finally somebody's listening to me, even though I'm not allergic.
It's interesting, Tomike. Everybody has like different perspectives
exactly.
on how they solve the same problem, right?
Yes.
And that's one of the beauties of open banking that we've learned so far throughout this podcast series, is that basically we're trying to access this data, and as we have the chief data officer here, and we're trying to access this data.
I'll tackle you on that briefly.
And we're trying to make it like reach at least a level of financial inclusion that we know that is going to be very, very, better than what we met, when we first started. So, I'm throwing this question open to both of you anyway. So, what would you say is like the key benefit of open banking?
I'll let Stephen go first.
I think one of the key benefits of open banking, as with any open service, is that it allows multiple players to innovate around the customer.
Okay.
So innovative new products and services, right? And it could, in some way, maybe bring costs down. Cost to serve might be lower. It allows the key players there to provide services to those customers who may not naturally be tied to them. So I think it's very positive. There's a potential for increased profitability for players who are able to identify the right opportunities and implement and take them. There's also an opportunity for other players who currently don't have access to the same infrastructure to leverage that to create innovative products for customers. So I think those are the key benefits that come out to me when I think about it.
Interesting. So you wanted to tackle me though. I want to hear your perspective.
Well, let me add to what Stephen said first. So I think to quip something that my friend Dijolowe has used as examples before on this general idea of open banking, think of the pre-PC era in the 70s. Computers was the thing for geeks. Only them knew how computers worked. Yeah. Then some folks came together around the idea of an open design where anyone can take this design. The interfaces are clear.
Use your PC at home, something like that.
And then folks went to China and manufactured computers. Now today you have a fancy phone, if I must say. You have phones, you have PCs all built around the concept of we know what the interfaces look like, so go ahead and just build something. Now, open banking, when it has fully taken off in the world, so to speak, creates those standards that make it possible that everyone, if you say open account, you know what it means. If you say give me the details of an account, you know what you can take that same information, use it in Uganda and it works. Use it in Kenya, Bangladesh, and it just works when it does take off. So I think that's one. Now, the part I wanted to tackle you on, Fisayo, is every time open banking comes up, most people always just very quickly tune into making data available, right? The original concept of open banking, or PSD2 when it kicked off in the UK, the CMA wanted it such that customers' data was not locked in the bank. That's how it started out. Now today, the same PSD2 is going beyond that. It's going into payment initiation. In India, it is translated something called UPI that is focused primarily on payment initiation. In other parts of the world, they're considering things like account opening, credit provisioning, right? So open banking goes beyond making data available, right? But every time the conversation comes up, we all latch onto making data available. That's the entry point. It needs to get to the point where, no, it just means that banking or financial services in general is open to the whole world. That's what needs to happen. But it always starts from free the customer's data. But even the place where it started out has gone into, after freeing data now, alpha.
I mean, that assumes the customer data is in some jail, but it's not.
It's in jail.
It's not really. The thing is,
defend yourself, sir.
I mean, I'll say as a bank, FirstBank is a very innovative organization. I mean, you're going to be existing since 1894, definitely in 2021, then you must have been very innovative. You think about freeing data for open banking, it should be highly regulated. I think that's what it's done now. And data should not leave, wherever data goes for innovation purposes, it should be driven by the customer's consent.
Correct.
So I think those safeguards have to be set up first
Correct.
before.
And looking into the future of open banking, what do you think the future holds for open banking from a data perspective now?
I think open banking will bring its risks and its opportunities. The real value is that there will be opportunities to innovate, profitability and all. But from data perspective, we'll have to define properly what a customer consent directive looks like. How that directive should flow from transaction to transaction across that value chain within the open banking space. Govern what it is used for, what it is not used for. The thing is, like with a bank like ours, because we are banks here are highly regulated. So naturally we conform to the regulatory rules and all that. But you also have players who might be niche players who might be more risk prone, right? So we'll have to take that into account. And I think the CBN's open banking regulatory framework is a very good start. I think that also takes into account the risks involved and will help mitigate it. But I expect this thing will keep improving over time.
Regulation. You mentioned regulation, and as soon as you mentioned, I wanted to ask you, how is regulation with OnePipe?
Yeah, so OnePipe today is an IT company. We're not. What we do is provide tech infrastructure that makes it possible for a bank that is regulated to offer services to a non-bank that is also not regulated. So today, we are positioned as an infrastructure provider to banks that want to do this openness thing. But we are also, we've seen the regulatory framework for open banking that came in February. It suggests to us that, yes, this is going somewhere, and we really should latch onto that as well. And it sounds like a very good start, and we suspect we'll latch onto that.
Okay. So, back to you now, being someone in this fintech space, what are some of the major challenges you faced so far since your inception?
It sounds very challenging. That side.
Meeting payroll. I hope I've gotten that one out of the way.
You're not the first person to say it in some form anyway.
Yeah.
So first challenge will be meeting payroll. The second challenge will then be, we're past that challenge now, thank God. The second challenge will be uncertainty of, so once you are the one breaking ground, right? you stand the risk.
Yeah.
It's a fast follower that will benefit from what you've done.
Exactly.
So the uncertainty of, I would say in my language, you are dagbolu. You are the one breaking the uncertainty that will my head break when I break this wall? And if I break the wall and my head is broken, the next
person will just walk past.
So the uncertainty is one. Is the second big one.
Completely agree.
Oh yes. Speaking of more uncertainties, what are some of the things that you are pretty uncertain about now? But definitely, I'm sure you're trying to find solutions to these problems. But these are problems that people on the other end, on the outer end, do not see. What are some of those problems right now that you are trying to tackle? Even those ones that we are not seeing, but you are facing right now.
Exchange rate.
That is a problem. Well, we can feel it, we can see it, we read it, we hear it, we know it, we spend it.
Yes,
Sister, are you feeling the same problem?
Exchange rate.
I have no comments.
No. Oh my goodness, exchange rate. What?
Okay, you didn't see that one coming yet.
I didn't see that one coming.
And
but
the swiftness of the answer, you will know.
That is paying somebody.
Like, I thought they were finished asking the question. It was ready with the answer. Exchange rate. I totally agree on that one.
Okay.
What? It is well. Any other uncertainty?
Yeah. So after that was a joke, by the way, but even though it is true.
But it's true.
Yes. The second uncertainty will
Yeah.
then be around market dynamics in general. So it's market uncertainty. Like we just completed a round of fundraising at one point.
Oh, wow.
And the biggest question in that tough 3 months was around the uncertainty of the market. That this thing you are doing now sounds very nice. We saw it in Berlin. We saw it in... Right. Are you sure this is your own country? What will happen 6 months' time? We're navigating it. When are you going to move into Uganda or some other to hedge the market uncertainty?
Right.
So that's always the issue. So the uncertainty around the market itself, especially when you are creating a new product line. Right. You just don't know what it means. Will customers adopt? Will regulation shut it down? Will regulation slow it down or speed it up? You just don't know.
Yeah.
So that's the second big one.
Wow.
Okay, so well, that's actually something that it's something we've seen a lot on like social media where people are talking about it, like, you know, ease of doing business is something that people always throw around here and there. And, you know, this is the FirstBank Fintech podcast, where basically also talking about fintech innovation and banking in general. And there's a Finnovation report for Africa that Nigeria has sort of surpassed people like Kenya and South Africa with regards to fintech. What do you think is helping us? And this is to the both of you. What do you think is the cause of us kind of surpassing or leading in this regard?
I'll let him go first.
No, you go first. We'll let you go first.
I went first. You know, he's in the fintech space, right? So I think he feels the pulse a little bit.
But I want to hear from you too, though.
Oh, no, I'll respond.
Okay.
Okay, so I think number one, Nigerians generally are aggressive. Entrepreneurially, it's in our nature. Hustle is the thing.
Yeah.
Right? So I think the first thing that is helping Nigeria is just the raw hustle of the Nigerian spirit. If company A creates Paystack, company B will create Flutterwave, will create... It's just going to happen just because that's who we are. So I think on the one side, Nigerians are aggressive and we chase opportunities down. I think on the second side is just the raw size of the market. Like, we're a large country. So it doesn't make sense for you not to try and tap into almost 200 million individuals. You will try to do that. So I think that's the second one. The third one is then, so no matter what we say about the regulator and the discomfort they give us, when you look at a short time span, let's say you look at the 1 year, you say, this regulator is always changing things. But when you look at a long enough time span, let's say 10 years, you actually see directives and direction coming from that regulator that has moved the entire industry forward. So if you look at Nigeria as a whole, over say a 10 to 15 year timeline, you will see innovations around identity, innovations around real-time payments that have served as the fundamental shifts that is moving the entire industry forward. My view is therefore that the fact that our own regulator takes some kind of long-term view and then creates policies over time that evolve into things that make it possible for startups to jump out and try things is the third thing that is pushing Nigeria forward. But of course, in a short time, when you look at 1 year time frame, this regulator always changing things. But when you look at 15 years, you go, not bad. I think that's what's going on.
Right. I mean, just to add to that, I think there's also support from the banks. You know, we're having this FirstBank Fintech Summit. an opportunity for fintechs and banks to also collaborate and integrate. So these kind of opportunities also create an avenue for startups to come and engage, where we can collaboratively solve problems to the benefit of the customer. So I think the banks are also a big reason why these opportunities exist. Yeah,
I agree. I think Nigerian banks also are open to the opportunity that comes from having somebody else out there, in quotes, selling your market. So banks here provide APIs to agency banking people, provide services to lenders. They do things that, maybe not altruistic, but everybody try to make money.
And that's the cocoa. You see, in a nutshell now, on the final note, what are some of the things in the pipeline for One Pipe for this year?
Wow, you had to go there. You had to go.
You started this show
What are the
with we
things
have
in the
intelligent
pipeline?
minds. How would we end the show without?
Okay.
Yeah, what's some of the things in the pipeline?
Take 5. That's it. Yeah, so this year we're going to announce some significant partnerships.
Oh, great.
Hopefully FirstBank will be one of them. But this year we're going to announce some significant partnerships that suggest to us that this direction that we have chosen, as my friends say, it get head. So I think we're going to demonstrate this year that it get head, that non-banks can sell banking. That's the primary thing you see.
Love it. We're coming to you.
right.
Anything in the pipeline for this year?
For us, it's just continuously innovate. You take the opportunity of the FinTech Summit to engage the FinTechs and see areas where we can closely collaborate to the benefit of our customers.
I think collaboration is key these days.
Yeah.
Fisaya,
Well,
anything in the pipeline for
this
you?
one is more of a general. I wait. Can you imagine that? Anything?
Yes.
I mean, I just want to.
You want to innovate?
Hammer.
What?
Don't want to hammer.
No. Yes, sure. I mean, that's something.
Goes without saying.
You know, I feel like value has to be created in order to be able to get any sort of monetary benefit from anything. Money is a store of value, and if you don't provide value,
You have
anyway.
to turn it to a quote.
Yeah.
Really? It's not that deep, Fisaya.
So I wanted to ask, well, more of a personal question. Well, like, for your day-to-day
Right.
and for your brand, what would you define success as?
Drops mic.
Okay. Let's go.
I mean, success is really in the eyes of our customers and what they experience, how they experience us. For us, because we serve our customers, it means that the measure of value is only experienced from the customer's viewpoint. Right. So that's how at least our measure success.
So customer experience.
So when I say customers now, we're looking at, I'll say maybe stakeholders.
Okay.
Customers are a group of stakeholders.
Okay.
So we have internal and external stakeholders. Now, even fintechs are somewhat
Also,
stakeholders.
yeah.
So when they're measuring us as how quickly is it for us to integrate for them to integrate with us, there will be success criteria there. If it's easy, then we're successfully integrating.
Okay, I think success for us as One Pipe will be when it becomes clear that this general idea of non-banks pushing financial services forward becomes a thing. Like, it's not even about One Pipe doing fine.
Yeah,
It's like,
sure.
my belief is that once the general concept is bought, for us being at the forefront, some of the halo effect will reach us, some of the cheddar will touch us, right? Now, but the fact that the entire movement takes off is much more of a measure of success.
And I really like how you also even linked it to like the PC revolution, because there were the geeks using computers, and then the personal computers came into the home, and people started using computers to create things. For instance, I use computers to make videos, to make my videos. There wouldn't have been a job like a social media manager many years ago, but it kind of makes me think that this is also going to create new opportunities that are going to bring forth new kinds of jobs and new ways of actually working. And interesting.
Thank you very much. It's been an insightful conversation. Thank you for joining us on FirstBank FinTech Podcast. Thank you, Fisaya.
Thank you, Tomike.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Coming.
Appreciate it.
For more details, do click on the link in the description box below. I am Ope Adeoye. I've been your host, and my co-host has been the super amazing, intelligent, incredible Fisaya. I was going to land well, but the expression on your face just scattered my landing. So say goodbye yourself.
Well, my name is Fisayo Fosudo, and this has been the FirstBank Fintech podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And if you want to check out more episodes, do check the link in the description below. And we'll see you in the very next one.
Episode. Bye.
Bye.